Hello everyone, this is Will Kern from Endless Events, and I am joined by Fiona Pelham, one of our favorite people in the entire industry because she is the goddess, I will say, of sustainability, and we have some really important information to go over. We've done a ton of Event Icons episodes on this, and a ton of information on this, so we're not going to talk really nitty-gritty today.
We're not going to talk practical tactics. MPI has some great education for the practical tactics, but yes, we're talking leadership. We're talking strategic thinking. How do we talk about our industry?
Awesome. And you know that very well because you used to be the global chair of MPI as well, right?
I did. And one of my very favorite things about MPI has always been its tagline: when we meet, we change the world.
I love it. I love it. And so let's start with this piece of content then and see how we can help you back at home lead our industry through in this big important issue. So I know this is very, very important to you. We've talked a lot about what's going on in the UN and everything like that. And I know you've definitely brought to my attention that we have to be raising the red flag and that we have to be aware of this issue because it's not just our industry, but also beyond our industry as well. So can you kind of talk a little bit about where leadership stands right now when it comes to this major issue that is climate change and sustainability?
So the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are 17 goals to create the world to work for everyone. Everything from gender equality to no food poverty to adapting to climate change and dealing with climate change. Now, for all of those goals to be met, people need to come together to innovate and to create. That's what our industry does. So we have a real strategic opportunity to reframe the way we speak about meetings and events, and to be able to say we are the industry that will cause the Sustainable Development Goals to be met.
I love it. I love it. And I think that events have a huge impact on the industry as well. I think we tend to think, I'm just doing one meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just doing this one event. But can you kind of explain how the larger impact of the events industry is on the rest of the world?
Absolutely. I think there's two things I want to say around this. The first is that we do have a threat on the horizon because when people think about meetings and events, they think about the travel to the meetings and events, and they think about the practical elements like the food waste and the plastic water bottle use. We need to reframe the conversation so that people are not just thinking about the negative impacts, but they're understanding, hey, I brought 500 people together and they learned something. They collaborated. Peace is created by people coming together and learning about each other and sharing cultures. There is one Sustainable Development Goal, 4.7, which talks about people learning how to live a sustainable lifestyle, learning how to live with human rights, gender equality, sustainability best practice in the actions you do. Well, our industry is the way that people will learn that.
I love it. I love it. So not also just thinking about how we can, as planners and as suppliers, that we can also use our events that maybe not necessarily just planning an events industry event, but maybe also planning one for our clients as well.
Absolutely. Well, here's a good tip for anyone with a corporate client. Corporate clients are all reporting on their sustainability initiatives. We went through 200 reports in the summer of 2019, and not a single sustainability report mentioned events.
Oh, wow.
Now, what a huge opportunity for our industry to be saying to our corporate clients, we know you report on sustainability, let me tell you what we do. Again, SDG goal 4.7, we can say we've just educated 500 people to learn something new.
Ooh, and I think it's really interesting because you're also almost creating like a competitive advantage for your company too.
Yes.
That if me as an AV company can say, hey, I can report on some sustainable efforts that you're making on your events, that you can send up to upper management to include in your sustainable reports.
We're never gonna win the challenge of not having a negative impact, because when you bring people together, there are negative environmental impacts. We can win the conversation of explaining why we bring people together. As MPI say, when we meet, we change the world. And that's the strategic high-level conversation for us to all be having.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. All right, what other sort of tips and tactics you have for how we can, as leaders, continue to push this initiative and really help, lead moving forward?
I would suggest every MPI member, every association member who plans meetings goes to their CEO and says, I know I plan meetings, but actually I deliver this sustainable development goal 4.7. So my big tip is everyone go and read that goal. Just Google sustainable development goal 4.7 and then start talking to your CEO and your colleagues as you are the ones that do that. That will change the whole conversation around our industry, and it will give us more energy when we're faced with the challenges of decreasing our carbon emissions, decreasing our waste footprint, etc.
Ooh, I like it. I think our industry is always trying to find ways to, legitimize events more and more, right? Like we can have these conversations about how we can understand business more and things like that. I think that really helps elevate us to get us in those conversations with the C-level executives.
Definitely,
as well.
and MPI has a lot of different groups, communities within the MPI community, and a lot of those communities are saying we want more support to be able to elevate the conversation of what we do. Now, in my mind, there is no greater way to elevate than to use the Sustainable Development Goals. That's the language of business and the language of government.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I have to let you keep going. You got more of this. So what more things can we do, and what more things can everyone at home take home to start implementing today?
Well, MPI have a number of education pieces around sustainability. There is also a high-level strategic course. So if you feel that you're ready to have this conversation, if you feel you're ready to be a leader, to champion this, to be in a place that's a bit uncomfortable, to disrupt, then MPI have a strategic sustainability course to
awesome.
take.
And that's being led by you.
It is.
So that's coming soon, so we'll make sure to link it down below.
And it is strategic. It's not about the tactics. It's not about what you should do about your water bottles and food donations. It's about how you speak to your CEO, how you disrupt our industry. I would question whether the current leadership in our industry really understands the opportunity to talk about our industry in a way that meets the Sustainable Development Goals. So what I would challenge all of us to do is be that leader.
Ooh, totally. Be the one, what they say, the squeaky wheel that gets greased, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's be the ones that kind of raise our hands and say, well, what about this? And just say, like, just bring it to everyone's attention and say.
Be prepared to be in a business meeting where people say, are you crazy talking about the event industry that way? And be able to say, MPI say when we meet, we change the world. So we should align with this sustainable development goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that you also mentioned the courses where people can go to learn the tactical portions of it too. MPI has a ton of great content. We'll make sure we link that down below. Any last minute tips that you have for anyone when it comes to how to be a leader when it comes to this initiative?
Yes, I would say there is no right thing to do. There is just action to take. And the more that you can share your story, don't wait until you think you have it right to share it. The more that you can share your story that I tried this and it didn't work, or I'm trying this next week, what are your thoughts? Using social media, it's very easy to do. But the more our industry starts talking about being on the sustainability journey rather than waiting till they've got all their operations sorted before they mention it.
I love it. I think that's the greatest advice that we can have for this, because the biggest problem we have right now is inaction.
Yeah.
And the more that we can take action and move forward, time is limited, right?
Exactly.
We got a time clock going. We have to move now.
We really do. So every October, the United Nations UNFCCC issue an IPCC report. Last year it said use technology more and meet less. Who knows what this year is going to say? Absolutely. But we need to be ready to tell the news story as to why meetings are essential.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fiona, can you let everyone know where to find you and where they can learn more about all this?
Yeah, so positiveimpactevents.com, at PI Events, social media, and any action that you do to tell the story of sustainability will make a difference, so thank you in advance.
Well, thank you, Fiona, for coming on. We really appreciate it. Make sure to check down below for all the links and resources that we all talked about. There's so much stuff to do, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you very, very soon in some more content talking all about this important issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fiona.